Hello everybody, this is Chi from R&H Photography, and we haven't been uploading for a while now because we have a perfect excuse as a busy class schedule. But since the semester is already ended, and we decided to bring up a new video about one of my favorite, all-time favorite film SLR, Olympus OM-1. As you can see, we're still at Rochester, New York, and it's freezing cold here. All the white snow and sub-zero weather. But I just can't help myself talk about the Olympus OM-1. This is one of the most beautiful and reliable SLR in the history. So probably around late 1950, all the camera, especially 35mm camera, is moving from rangefinder to SLRs because SLR is way better at work because you can see what you get, and it's very, very perfect for slightly longer focal length lenses. All start with the Nikon F. Then in the 1971, the Nikon F2 came out. But the problem with the old 35 SLR is it's big, chunky, heavy, and damn ugly. Not until 1972, Olympus come out with their M1 SLR. And it's like this beautiful, classic, nice looking body, and which make Leica very, very nervous because first off, look at their size difference. Here's my, here's my Leica M2, and they have almost the same dimension as the Leica M, and the color is almost identical. It's all perfectly silver, and their name is M1. So Leica is all freaked out and about like, we're gonna sue you for the copyrights and intellectual property. So Olympus renamed it the OM1, Olympus M1. But it's not stopping it from a huge success because the body is small, nice, well built, and most importantly, this is fully mechanic camera with a light meter built in. So it's perfectly on par with the Nikon F2, but it's much smaller and looks better. So it's cold here and we better get moving. So we're gonna put a film in and go out shoot some photos. Load a Olympus OM1 is fairly easy. It's really standard for any film camera. So you have your cassette over here and put your lead over here on the right side, and make sure the lead is all the way into the slot on the right. And it's cold, and you can see it's snowing right now. Better do it quick. So what I usually do is I make sure the film, I fucked up. Okay, make sure the film is perfectly in the gear, and like this, and close the lid. I do one shot, and I rewind this way back a little bit to make sure it's actually caught on. Perfect. So something more about the camera. As I mentioned, there's a light meter built in. So they actually have a switch, an on and off here, to save the battery life. The battery is supposed designed for 1.35 volt mercury battery. However, those batteries are really outdated and discontinued because the environment measure. So right now you can find some coin battery for it, but the voltage is vary a little bit. So the light meter is not accurate as it's supposed to be. However, since we shoot black and white film, the dynamic range is wide enough. So it's not a big deal because frankly for film, it's not meant for any professional use anymore. So the layout of this camera is slightly different than the other SLRs. Have film rewind on the left. There's a classic spinning handle and on and off photometer. You have this big dial over here, which looks like a shutter speed dial. However, it is a film speed select. So you have from ISO 25 all the way to 1600. So where is the shutter speed dial? It's right on the lens mount, which is from 1 second all the way to 1,000. So as I mentioned before, the camera is fully mechanical. Even the battery run out, you can still shoot. And this is very, very interesting, and it's really striking feature for me in 21st century. Speaking of the sound, the OM-1 shutter is actually relatively quiet for the SLR standard. It's really, really nice for this quiet operation, because usually due to the mirror, it's really loud and clunky, but not for OM-1. And another Leica Live feature I really want to make fun of is they also put the timer right here, just like a M2 and M3 position. The horseshoe on this camera is removable, so you can see it's on top of this triangle and this dial right here. You can take this off, but my hands are too cold to take it off to demo it for you outside. So we're probably gonna find a cafe. Oh, and it's 2 seconds. We better cross. Oh! Okay. Right now we are going to an area next to the Eastman School of Music, and which I call the food market area. It's one of those slightly dodgy area of the city, and it's got a lot of cool stuff, and it's one of my favorite place to shoot in the city actually. And I love one of the challenging is shoot a roll of 120 film here in 1 hour, which is 12 shots and 5 minutes a shot. It's actually pretty cool. As you can see, nobody's here, but there's a perfectly interesting landscape here. And we're probably gonna make a video about my favorite camera, and also my first film camera, the Hasselblad 503 CX, pretty soon when we come back here. Oh, it's cold.
It's really icy.
Yeah, it's since there's nobody goes here, and they just don't bother shoveling the snow here, and throughout the day, and it got really, really icy here as well. So good for me, but not perfectly good for Aaron, because he has to look at the camera and walk at the same time. Yeah, it's really, really unique here. I like all the dumpster shots, and I probably put one of my all-time favorite shots here just to show off how great this area is. Uh-oh. Shooting at SLR is a slightly different experience compared to rangefinder, because you can really see what you get. And sometimes, since I'm so used to the rangefinder, I put my OM-1 like this. I said, oh, I can see nothing. Oh, the viewfinder is at the middle. And the tunnel vision is good or bad. And there's a pros and cons in both design of the camera. But if you're one of those people like portraits, for example, using 85 millimeter lenses, then SLR is perfect for you. I like dumpster. And just can't help myself. Oh, there's a warrior of a cyclist over there struggling. Yeah. Okay, you can take it easy. I'm gonna go. Okay, that's how you get the shot.
Got it?
Yeah, I got it. Well, in the M2 video, I was kind of seeing it's rather boring to shoot in Rochester because nobody is around. But for whatever reason, there's more people outside in the winter compared to the summer. And it's kind of interesting to shoot here in the winter. And plus, the snow really bring out the vibe of the landscape. And even wasn't for the cold, I'm probably gonna stay here like all day long. What do you think, Aaron? You want to stay here all day long?
Got about an hour of light left.
Yeah, that's true, because the light run out really quick. And since the lights is running out, it's getting cold really quick. And whew. Okay, now we're in a cafe and nice and warm here. So as I mentioned before, Olympus OM camera share a lot of similarity as a Leica M camera, and that's why Leica kind of freaked out in the 70s. So I have my lovely Leica M2 on the left and OM-1 on the right. And as you can see, the thickness of the body, it's almost identical. However, the OM-1 has a little bit protrusion because of the mirror, and almost same width and the height. And not surprisingly, it has the rewind on the left. And especially the same era, the Leica M4 has similar design as the OM-1. And obviously, my M2 doesn't come with a meter, and OM-1 comes with a meter. That's the amazing thing about a mechanic camera with a meter, and you can shoot without the battery. So that's why M6 is a such popular camera, because it has a fully mechanic interior plus a meter built in, and everybody wants a M6 for that matter. And look into some details. You have your film rewind button on the right, and probably the same position as Leica. Kind of tricky, and everything else just such similar cameras, and that's why I also like the Olympus OM-1. Okay, more about the layout. So as a film SLR, obviously you have the mirror lockup, which is located right here of the camera. So if you try to spin this, the mirror moves up and down, up and down. And here's your PC sync. So you can have your flash here and plug in here. It works for the any PC sync flash. And the flash sync here is 1/60th of the second. It's pretty much standard for the camera on this era. And so there's, interesting enough, there's no lens mount release on the body because it's on the lens. So for mounting the lens, you line up the red side on the side and you twist it. And to demount the lens, you hold those two both lever and twist it. Pretty cool. And the lens I have here is 51.4. Pretty standard 50mm lens. Nice and sharp. And you can find pretty good lenses for OM mount for pretty decent price. So I paid my OM-1 around $125 on Facebook forum, and it's very good price considering it's a fully mechanic camera plus a meter built in. For a similar price, you won't get a Nikon FM2. It's much more expensive, and obviously you don't want to get a Canon A1 for similar price. I really don't like the film advance on that, and that's more like a fully electronic camera. And I can't really find any flaw of this camera. It's almost like perfect, except the battery on this is discontinued, but you can work around this. And it's really important for a film camera nowadays is the exterior look. So Leica M5, it's a wonderful camera, and this is fully mechanics, has a meter built in, and it's a TTL, nothing wrong with that functionally. But you can find that camera like dirt cheap, and also not a lot of them made. So why it's so cheap and nobody wants it? Because it's damn ugly. If you have ever looked at the Leica M5 before, check out here. It's just so ugly and nobody wants it. And why everybody wants the M6? It is a classic Leica M design with all the functionality you want. And if you look at the SLRs, Nikon F2 is a perfect camera, but it's less popular nowadays because you probably don't want all the rugged design because film is not really meant for professionals anymore. But it's heavy and it's chunky and it doesn't look good. So nobody wants it. And everybody wants an F3 because it's a much nicer looking body design. I've just finished the editing, now realized we forgot to shoot the ending because it was so cold outside and we just went straight to the home. So if you feel like the new video, just like it and please subscribe. And you just don't like the video, dislike it and leave the comment down below. See you guys next time. Bye!